Let's get real. If you're already rolling in dough, finding new ways to multiply it isn't that hard. But if you're starting from scratch, it's a whole different ballgame. Recent stats show that only 30% of the least affluent American families have a savings account. The middle class is said to be getting crushed by inflation, and the average American would need $500,000 to feel financially secure. But don't despair, there's a way out. And it doesn't involve the same old advice you've heard 1,000 times before. You know, save 15% of your income, invest in a 401k, live frugally, skip that music festival, and grab your free stock from the link below. Sure, it's sound advice, and it's certainly better than what most people are doing. But if you're serious about building wealth from scratch, regardless of your education or background, I have some unique recommendations based on the personal experiences of successful and wealthy folks. But before we dive into the specifics, here's a general piece of advice. Be selective about who you listen to. There are plenty of people who are flat broke, but love to dish out financial advice. They'll tell you that only poor people take out loans, credit cards are evil, you need a college degree to succeed, and starting a business is too risky. While their intentions may be good, if you want to build wealth, you need to go against the grain and do what most people aren't doing. Listen to those who are where you want to be. They've walked the path you want to tread, and their advice is likely to be more valuable. Now let's get real. If you want to build wealth from scratch, you need to make money. It's unlikely that you'll amass wealth quickly through a traditional job unless it pays exceptionally well or you're a poker whiz. So the advice is this: choose a career or business that isn't tied to the number of hours you work. If you take away one thing from this video, let it be this. Jobs that pay by the hour usually hit a plateau pretty quickly. There are only so many hours in a day, and once you've maxed out, you've hit a ceiling. But if you choose a job that pays based on results, your income can skyrocket because time is no longer a limiting factor. Sales, in my opinion, is an underrated career. It's often a stepping stone to higher earnings, teaches you valuable skills like time management and customer service, and can provide the funds for almost anything you want to do later on. But if sales isn't your thing, and you want something more stable and consistent, consider switching careers to earn more, especially now when many businesses are desperate for talent and willing to pay top dollar for the right person. Most of the rags to riches stories you hear involve starting a business. These individuals identified a gap in the market and filled it, or they improved on an existing business model. Learning how to do this doesn't have to be expensive. Most of the information you need is available for free on YouTube. Being self-sufficient and finding your own answers is a crucial part of building wealth in the long term. Now that we've covered the basics, let's get into the nitty-gritty of how to build wealth from scratch. First, make it a habit to invest in everything immediately. The average millennial aged 25 to 34 spends over $2,000 a year at coffee shops, with 41% admitting to spending more on coffee than on their retirement. This needs to stop. The more time you give your money to grow, the more money you'll have. It doesn't matter how much you're investing right now, but rather how well you maintain and sustain those habits once you start earning more. For instance, $1 invested at the age of 20 at a 7% return will be worth $21 by the age of 65. But if you wait until you're 30 to invest that same dollar, you'll only have $10.68 at 65. And if you wait until you're 40, you'll only have $5.48. This means your money is worth twice as much invested today as it is 10 years from now. When I first understood this concept at 18, it changed everything for me. I saw every expense as a potential future investment, and I chose to invest consistently, even if it meant cutting back on my discretionary spending. Next, open a Roth IRA as soon as you can and contribute to it. This is a retirement account where your investments grow tax-free after the age of 59 and a half. If you're starting from scratch, this is especially beneficial for two reasons. First, if you're not earning much right now, you're in a low tax bracket, which means you'll have more money to invest. Second, the sooner you start, the longer your money has to grow, which means more money in the long run. In terms of how much you should be saving, the answer is as much as you possibly can. If you invest 10% of your income starting at 20, it'll take you about 51 years to accumulate enough money for your investments to replace your income. If you save 30%, it'll take you 28 years. And if you manage to save 50% of your income, you could retire in 17 years, with your investments earning enough to sustain your lifestyle indefinitely. That's why it's crucial to start saving as much as possible as soon as possible, even if you're not earning much at the start. Once you've done all that, here's the secret ingredient: create multiple sources of income. The IRS found that the more income streams you have, the more income you tend to make. So try to diversify as much as you can. The most common income streams for millionaires are earned income from a job or paycheck, dividend income, capital gains, interest income, rental income, and income from a second job or side hustle. Finally, let's break down exactly what you'll need to reach your goal of $500,000 and how long it'll realistically take if you start from nothing. First, let's assume you have the average annual salary of $31,000. Your first step should be to minimize all your costs. The average American spends $18,000 a year on non-essential items, so there's plenty of room to cut back. Next, let's assume that with a $31,000 income and frugal living, you can save about $200 a month, or $2,400 a year. Invest all of that into a broad market index fund in a Roth IRA. Then find a side hustle or part-time work that you can do after normal hours. Even assuming an extra $35 a night, 4 nights a week, that's an extra $560 a month that you can invest. After a few years, consider switching jobs. Workers who switch jobs every 2 to 3 years end up making significantly more money than those who stay within the same company. If you're able to increase a $31,000 career by 15%, that's an extra $390 a month that you can save. Combine that with the side hustle income and you're saving $950 a month. If you maintain this, you could reach your $500,000 target in 18 years at an 8% return. And after 30 years, you'll have $1.5 million, which is basically your entire retirement. But let's be realistic, you're not just going to stop there. There's nothing that says you can't switch jobs every 2 to 3 years to end up making significantly more. So, by year 3 or 4, you should be able to leverage that $31,000 career into something that earns $46,500 a year. If you choose to save that difference, that's an extra $10,000 a year that you could invest. Apply that to the existing $950 a month that you were already saving, and now you have $1,750 a month to invest. Doing that would allow you to reach more than $500,000 in 13 years. However, one of the most challenging parts to maintain throughout all of this is avoiding lifestyle inflation. This is when you start earning more and begin to increase your spending proportionally, leaving your savings stagnant. A recent study found that 44% of millennials earning above $100,000 were living paycheck to paycheck, likely due to lifestyle inflation. The only way to overcome this is to keep your expenses the same as your income increases and invest the difference immediately. In conclusion, it's entirely possible to grow your wealth from $0 to $500,000 in 10 years, even without a high income. It requires increasing your income, sacrificing short-term discretionary spending for the sake of investing more, pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, and making it a goal you have to achieve. This is something absolutely doable over the next 10 years with a decade's worth of sacrifice. You have the potential to set yourself up for the rest of your life, and it all begins right here, right now.